Greetings, this is the Timeshare Traveler, and today is episode 109. Comparing three locations on cost. Cost is one of the main drivers on an ongoing basis of owning a timeshare, and so I want to do a comparison. So it's one of the things you want to look at. So I can talk about all the three timeshares that I own, which is Marriott, Hilton, and Wyndham/Worldmark. And then I'll talk about the head-to-head comparison, and then the three locations. I'll go into specific details of the points and costs per night on a week. The Big Island of Hawaii, Myrtle Beach, Southern California, and then I'll summarize really the perspective of cost and what the trade-offs are that you're looking at. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my channel, then I'll jump right into all these details. Hi, this is Cliff, and I'm the Timeshare Traveler. Welcome to my channel. The purpose of my channel is to educate those who love traveling in timeshares. I've been an owner for 15 plus years at timeshare ownership. I have elite ownership with Marriott, Hilton, and Worldmark. I have published over 100 timeshare video reviews, and I've published over 95 timeshare tips. I can be found on Facebook at Timeshare Trav, at Twitter, Timeshare Trav, and on the web at www.timesharetraveler.com. Well, I'm back, and let me first start by saying, what is ongoing costs? And by that, I mean your maintenance fees. And that's one of the really long-term drivers of owning a timeshare. A lot of people worry about, all the fees keep coming in if I don't use it. So let's talk about what that is and the cost. The video describes how maintenance costs translates into cost per night per stay. Basically, you take the maintenance fee, they're paid once a year, and based on the number of points you own or the deeds you own that translate into points, you take that information, you take the total maintenance and divide it by your total points, and then that gives you a cost per point. I tend to multiply that by 1,000, so I get cost per 1,000 because it's more, that way they're all kind of equal. And usually there's thousands is usually in the number where your points are usually 1,000, or in the case of Worldmark, it can be 10,000, 10, 12,000. So the numbers tend to be larger. So I usually do it on a cost per 1,000 basis, and I'll show you that in the slides I have on all the slides. That kind of creates a sort of baseline how you can compare. You can't just use the cost per 1,000 points because the points are different on each one of them. But that's how I kind of use it, so you can get an equal footing, and then I'll go through that, what the points are for a week stay, and then create the total cost for the week and then the cost per night. So it makes it look like a room cost at a hotel or anything like that. So that's what I'm going to try to do, and I'll be comparing all those three locations with Hilton, Marriott, and Worldmark points, even though I might be using a Club Wyndham location. I mentioned I own all three, and it's really just to give you perspective that I've stayed at all three, and not in all locations and everywhere, but that I'm comparing. But at most of the places I have stayed, and so the three locations abound is a new Marriott phrase for the luxury brand of Marriott in Vistana, and I'm a first level elite member, and I've been an owner since 2007. HG Max is the new Hilton Grand Vacations that combines Diamond International Hilton. I'm actually at the Premier Plus. They have one more level that you have to have 100,000 points. I don't know that I'll ever get there, nor do I think I need to. They have luxury, the perks, and over 150 locations, and I've been a member almost as long as I've been a member on the Marriott side. And then at the Worldmark, I'm currently the top tier. And I've used them on driving vacations, high availability. I haven't been an owner there, but they're primarily a lot on the West Coast is where I live. They have a lot of Club Wyndhams that I can use as well in Hawaii and also, but I've only been a member since 2017. So that's my perspective, and I'll leverage that in the ongoing videos. Okay, so now let me give you the backdrop for the next set of slides, which are actually have lots of numbers on them and give you raw comparisons. And I just wanted to let you know on the head comparisons, I'm using the not scenic view, where the scenic view but not the ocean views and things like that, because the rates vary so much across brands. I just thought I'd start with the base rate room, and I'm comparing the Big Island, Hilton Grand Vacations Ocean Tower, the Marriott Waikoloa, Paniolo Greens by Club Wyndham, which is part of the Worldmark family that you can get to. And then I'm going to talk about Myrtle Beach, which is the Anderson Club by Hilton Grand Vacations, Marriott Ocean Watch, and then a Club Wyndham Sea Watch Resort. And then lastly, in Southern California, I'll talk about Hilton Grand Vacations at Marissa, Marriott Newport Villas, and Club Wyndham Oceansides. Well, on with that, let's go take a look at Hawaii. Okay, now let's look at the head-to-head comparison on the Big Island, and you can see to the left I have Hilton Grand Vacations Ocean Tower, the Marriott Waikoloa, and then the Paniolo Greens. And you can see in the upper left-hand corner in blue, you've got the $140 per 1,000 point cost. That's back to the slide where I talked about how I calculate maintenance cost per 1,000 points. And then I have them in red is the Marriott. That's $776 per 1,000 points. And lastly, Worldmark is about $90 per 1,000 points. So then what you see going across is just take the Hilton Grand Vacations in the upper left. It's 5,440 points, which translates into $109 a night. And what that means is I take 5.44 thousand points times the 140 and then divide it by 7. So that just gives you, so bottom line is that when you compare the Hilton Grand Vacations is walking distance to the Marriott. It's, maybe I think it's 3/4 of a mile. So they share the borders. You can go to the same beaches. You might have to walk a little farther. There's more of a rocky beach at the Hilton, and there's a sandy beach at the Marriott, but you can walk to it. At least I've always walked to it. It's not been a big deal. So anyway, so you can see right away that the Hilton is $109 for the off-peak 1-bedroom, or $240 for the two-bedroom off-peak. Whereas the Marriott is $324 a night off-peak, and 2-bedroom is $463. So when you look at the pictures of the places, you need to go, oh, if I buy this, depending on the purchase price, on an ongoing basis, it's almost half price. One case it's less than half price to stay on a 1-bedroom in the Hilton side than it is the Marriott. And then switching down to Paniolo Greens, they don't have a 1-bedroom; they're only 2-bedrooms, but their off peak is $140 a night, which is the lowest cost. I will say they're probably 6 or 7 miles or up the hill in sort of what they call the Waikoloa Village, which is more of a shopping area. So it's not close to the beach, where the Hilton and Marriott are right on the beach. So that might be a trade-off. They're both, the Hilton and Marriott are full service, and the Paniolo Greens, you'd have to walk to the shopping center to get a lot of the restaurants and stuff like that. So there's a flavor for what the Big Island's like. Now let me move all the way to the east coast of the United States to Myrtle Beach now. Well, I won't go into as great a detail here on the Myrtle Beach side as far as telling you how to calculate. I'll just give you kind of the bottom line. So on in the case of Hilton, you can get a 1-bedroom off-peak at $77 a night. That's usually during the December timeframe or January. But during peak, it's up to $154. That's the summer vacation when all the kids are out of school. And then there's no 1-bedrooms in the Marriott. But their 2-bedroom is amazing off-peak. It's $67. I think it's actually the low. It's the lowest across the board. But their high season is also the highest. So apparently Marriott really discounts when it's that's their strategy. But again, this is a chance to give you a comparison. So when you look at the peaks at the 2-bedroom, which is really what you really have, in the summer, if you can stay at the Hilton, and there are actually 3 Hiltons, and there's only 1 Marriott, so there's more rooms in Hilton, but they're actually about $160 less, almost about 2/3 the cost. So again, Hilton is similar in my mind in is luxury, but the price is a lot better. But then if you look at the Club Wyndham, then you can really it's only $166 a night. So if cost was your number one driver, in this case, looking at Myrtle Beach, and actually in Hawaii, if you don't mind compromising not being by the ocean, Club Wyndham is a less expensive brand to go with. So if that's your driving criteria and the only criteria, that matters. Again, all three of these in this case are right on the water, so there's no fundamental shift of a view. Maybe you can argue one is a better view, but it's really a long strip of beaches throughout. So there you go. Now let's do Myrtle Beach. Now I'll go to Southern California. That's the Los Angeles, San Diego, kind of in between those two places, and we'll talk about that. Okay, right now we're looking at Southern California, and I'm looking at the Hilton Grand Vacations in Marbrissa, and it's a little bit away from the water. It's probably the farthest away from the water. The Newport Villas are kind of across the street. You don't really see the ocean from the units. There's a lot. Some of the buildings do have views, but there's a park on the other side, which then you can get to the ocean. And then the one that's really closest is the Club Wyndham Oceanside Pier. It's literally across the street, and many of the balconies stare out right at the water. So it's actually in this case the one closest to the water. But again, Marriott only has the 2 bedrooms, and their target may be larger families as a marketing, whereas the Hilton has studios as well. But I just brought the 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms for comparison, and you can see on the off peak, it's $109 a night, and actually it's less than the Club Wyndham. And I would say, in my opinion, the Marbrissa is a nicer physical location. It's not as close to the ocean, so that's, everything's got trade-offs. But just looking purely at cost, the 1 bedroom off peak is lower, and then even the 2 bedroom off peak is lower than the Club Wyndham, and quite substantially lower than the Newport Villas. And when you look at 2 bedroom, it's almost almost 3-to-1, where the Hilton is much less. In fact, that's where the Club Wyndham comes in a little cheaper, but they're comparable as far as prices. Again, the Newport Villas is a full service. Club Wyndham and Hilton is full service. Club Wyndham is not full service, but you're right in the center of Oceanside, so there's restaurants literally, moments away. So I would argue that's probably, I would consider that full service, because you're in the sort of, you have to like go next door to get a restaurant. But there you have it. That's Southern California. And again, these are just the costs, and that's only one of the features. Let me talk about some of the other things, that you need to consider when looking at timeshare. But this is probably the main driver in ongoing cost. Okay, here's my final takeaways after all these numbers. I hope it wasn't too much, but the way people look at it is Hilton and Marriott in general are more luxurious than Wyndham, and that's my opinion, and probably others. Hilton costs are similar to Wyndham and Worldmark, which is, I find, fascinating. And that's actually, I'm a numbers-driven person, and I'm probably, of all the timeshares that I own, I have probably more of the Hilton brand because of this. And I've kind of known this, but I made this video just so that I could share what I've sort of discovered on my own. And again, it's just, this analysis just allows you to look at cost, luxury trade-off, and it doesn't mean, I own a little bit of Marriott, because if you want to go to the certain locations, I want to be able to do that. It's just my choice. But those are the trade-offs that you want to do. But cost is not the only factor. I also take into account hotel relationships. Where are the locations? Are the ones that matter to me? How much does it cost to get to the locations? Because that's part of the total cost of what you're doing. And how much luxury matters to you. Those are all personal factors that you need to factor in as well. There's also the cost of actually purchasing it, but that tends to be, I think those are similar when you sort of get chunks of points. There's similar cost to getting into them, but I'll probably do another video on that. Anyway, I hope you found this valuable, because cost is the number one driver, and it's, once you get over that hurdle and kind of know what you're getting into, and you can make trade-offs, I think you get to a place where you can make a better decision. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to hit the like button, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.